not going to find anything. We just have to press on.
Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Get that mess up out of here. What up, YouTube? This your boys Artie Black here today to bring you another Ruben video. Today we're talking about what could potentially be the downfall of Team Juniper, but not the way you think it. Team Juniper is broken, and it might already be too late to fix it. If you don't understand what I mean, I think I'll lay it out, but I'm starting with arguably the most famous member and the only member who didn't make it past Volume 3, Pyrrha. So, we've all known the theory that all the members of Team Juniper are going to die eventually. While I don't buy into that theory, it's looking like it might happen. It's a little close. Because the root origins of each member of Team Juniper is rooted in a historical, real-world figure, except for Nora. Nora's freaking Thor with that big old hammer she got. Gotta keep it PG. Joan of Arc. Nora, Thor, Pyrrha, Achilles, and then ran Mulan. Now, this is as far as I know, the fact. Now, I know for a fact that Joan was burned at the stake by her country, France. Thor died to the venom of the world serpent, and Achilles was injured in battle from the only part of his body that was vulnerable, his ankle, and then fell in battle against Troy. Mulan is the key difference here. There are different versions of what I can find about how Mulan died. Some say she died of old age, others say she fell in battle. But the most consistent version that I found with Mulan was that she committed suicide. Yes, I don't want to bring this up on my channel. I hate that. But for the sake of this video, I gotta bring it up. I'm going to paraphrase the information that I was able to obtain when I did some research on Mulan. So, I'll provide what information I can find in the description below. But as far as I know, the story goes like this. Mulan served in the royal army and fought many battles for 12 long years. Once her service was done, she refused gifts and rewards from the emperor and instead wanted to return home to her family. Upon returning home, she discovered that her father had died many years ago and her mother had remarried. She remained in the village for some time, but the records vary from source to source. Some say that she was honored in her village, while others say that she was bullied and ridiculed for what she had done and had brought great shame and dishonor upon not only her family, but the village as well. Some time passed, and she was summoned by a man named Khan to become his concubine. Instead of becoming a concubine, she instead took a knife and declared,
I am a girl. I have been through war and I have done enough. I now want to be with my father.
Now, what does this have to do with Team Juniper's fall? Joan, Thor, and Achilles all fell in battle or due to circumstances resulting from battles. Thor poisoned, Joan's betrayal by her country after leading them to victory, and Achilles' fall during Troy. Mulan fell to her own blade after she allowed herself to succumb to the pressures, the hate, the shame people put on her for doing what she thought was right for her father and her family, and instead brought them to great anger and frustration. Going by what we know so far, everything is lining up for Team Juniper to split and fall fully. What I mean by that is that Pyrrha was the first to die due to an injury that resulted in battle. Her Achilles tendon was shattered when she was fighting Cinder. During that battle, she asked Cinder point blank, "Do you believe in destiny?" Now, this is a direct correlation to Achilles, who was told by his mother that he had a destiny ahead of him, but if he pursued his destiny, he would be remembered for all time, but he would never return to his birthlands, which in fact happened when they fought at Troy, which took place a couple of months to a full couple of years after the battle at Troy. And if you remember correctly, Ospen told Pyrrha. Ospen did the same thing. He didn't tell her that she would be remembered for all time, but in that moment, it was implied that Ospen was going to make Pyrrha remembered for all time, but she would never return to her homeland, which in fact happened. Now let's fast forward a bit when Team Juniper and Team Ruby are no more, and the newly formed Team Ranger are out in the world, out in Mantle, working as mercenaries. Yes, I said mercenaries, because at this point they didn't have licenses, making them huntsmen and huntresses, and they were not at a school, so they technically did not have the right to go and hunt Grimm without those licenses, making them rogues. It made them rogues. So far, the team have been together for 6 to 8 months, fighting Grimm, trying to get to Haven to warn them. They've been doing everything in their power to get to Mistral. Now, at this point, we're in Mistral, crossing the continent, when Team Ranger runs into Tyrion, a scorpion faunus that almost killed Crow due to venom. During the battle of Team Ranger and Crow versus Tyrion, Nora was nearly poisoned several times during that fight. And now I know somebody's probably going to go through and look at the entire fight and see, but I believe that Tyrion, as good as he was, he could have easily poisoned her. Remember, Tyrion's semblance is that he can disrupt other people's auras. He can disrupt them and make them shut off completely. So that makes him the most likely person who's probably going to kill Nora, if it comes down to that. Now, fast forward again to the end of Volume 7. Jean and the rest of their group, we need a name for them. I guess we'll call them the Order. It's a good placeholder name, so what can you do? They're on the run from a kingdom, a country that they defended. That sounds oddly familiar. Sounds like someone we know, someone whose name was Joan of Arc. And I'm just saying, man. Remember, Jean was killed when a bunch of corrupted French nobles made a secret pact with Englishmen, and they turned her over to them, and she was burned. If current theory and the way things are looking holds up, Ironwood is going to do exactly that. He's going to join Salem to save his country. Which, honestly, I as much as he's been fighting against Salem, if he were to do it, he'd just be doing the same thing Leo did. I couldn't remember his name for a second. Now we come to Ren, the linchpin in what happens if Team Juniper falls fully. During the end of Volume 4, when they win Kurayuri and Crow was poisoned, when they were fighting, you know what? I'm not even going to try and pronounce that thing's name. I'm just going to put a picture right here of what that thing is. Ren began to show signs of anger, hate, rage, and even a willingness to allow his allies to die to achieve victory, to achieve his vengeance. Were it not for Nora, then he would have thrown his life away in a suicidal charge in the memory of his mother and his father and his village. And during Volume 7, he showed a willingness to ally with Ironwood when Ironwood was unwilling to allow anybody to know what was happening, to allow his troops to know what was happening. He was even willing to push Team Ruby and the others away when they were giving him sound advice because he thought he knew what was best. And Ren went along with it willingly. We can take all this and draw the conclusion that Team Juniper is heading to a path of destruction from the inside, and Ren is the catalyst for that destruction. That isn't to say that Ren is going to do it on purpose. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it will be an unconscious action, an unconscious choice, a split-second choice that will see them all dead within moments, if not seconds of each other. We've already seen this moment happen, where he couldn't bring himself to attack Neo Nora, even though John, Nora, and Oscar were all able to put aside their love for their friends, knowing that that wasn't them, and fight. An image of a person that you care about before you wanted to hurt that person that you love. You know you can't do it, but at the same time, you know that that's not them, and you can bring yourself to do incredible actions and have incredible powers. But Ren couldn't bring himself to attack a person he loved. He couldn't bring himself to attack Nora, no matter the fact that he knew it wasn't her. And that cost them the relic of knowledge. At the end of the Volume 7, Ren broke down and cried, knowing that if he had lost Nora, he couldn't go on. Nora is his world, and he knows this. Now, do I personally believe the theory that Team Juniper is going to die? I'm on the fence about it. But all the evidence is pointing to that fact. Tyrion's deadly poison, Atlas putting a bounty on the Order's head with John being part of the Order, and finally Grim breaking down at the thought of harming or losing those he loves, especially Nora. Team Juniper is currently on the edge, and Ren is the blade that will decide whether to fall and allow his team to fall with him. Those have been my thoughts on the matter, and I hope you enjoyed this video. This is R the Black. Peace.